In this tutorial, we will be talking about layers, and we're going to be talking about how to make your line command dotted or hidden or a different color. So what you guys are going to be doing after this is opening up your AutoCAD, uh, open up your workspace, and saving it as assignment 7. Now, the reason why you use layers whenever you're working with AutoCAD is if you're doing a very complicated drawing, you never really want to put everything on one layer. The reason is you want to be able to sometimes shut off certain parts of a drawing so you can edit other parts. Sometimes if you have too many different lines on one drawing, you can't really see what you're doing. So by turning off those certain layers, it makes it a lot easier to edit the things that you need to. So your layer command, you can do two things. You could either go right up here, and this is where your layer is going to be. You can see that you have a little drop down. And as of right now, the only layer that I have is the defaulted layer. All right, and that's what these are all. All of these lines right here are underneath this one layer. So no matter which one I click, it's going to bring it up under this layer. Now, if I wanted to open up the actual screen, the edit screen for the layers, I can either type LA enter and the layer command will come up, or I can go right to this button right here and I can just click it and that same little help screen will come up. Now from here, this is where I can add a layer, make a layer active. I can delete my layers, and in addition to that, I can actually take the layers. I can make them different colors. I can change the line type that I want it to be. Um, and I can change the name. So from here, this is what I would want to do. Let's say that I wanted to add a couple of new layers. All right. So all I have to do is go to this tab right here and click it, and you're going to notice that another layer will appear. As of right now, as I said, everything in this drawing is underneath this 0 layer, and this is the one that's active as of right now. So this layer where it says layer 1, I'm going to switch it to, well, I'm going to at least change the name, and I'm going to call it green. Okay, and the reason why I'm going to call it green is because I'm going to actually switch the color, which is located right here, from white to green, and press OK. The next thing I'm going to do is create another layer, and I'll call this one blue, and I'll switch it to the color blue. And finally, I'll do one more layer, and I'll call it red, and I will switch it to the color red. So it's that easy to change the actual colors, create layers, and change the names of them. Okay, so now if you look over here, you see that there's a couple more options. It says continuous. It has a little, I guess, symbol of a line. After it, it would say default. And then finally over here, you have a little printer. Now, if you ever have a problem where you're printing out your drawing and you sometimes see some of your drawing printed and some of it is left behind, but yet you can see it on your workspace, it might be because one of these printers happens to be turned off. So for example, if I turn off the red layer, that's what it would look like. It's just not going to print. You'll be able to see it on the screen, it's just not printing out. So you want to make sure that all of your layers, the printing property, is always going to be on. Now, whenever I say an active layer, so whenever I'm drawing, let's say I do a line command, I want to draw a couple of lines. Whatever layer is checked off, that's the current layer that is going to be displayed as on. The next thing that we're going to be doing, or going over, is showing you guys how to make an active layer. So instead now, I'm going to switch it from the default layer. I'm going to make my green layer my active layer. So I can either just double click until I get that check mark, or I can come up here and I can just click one of them and make the check mark, and that will make it active. So I'll go to my green, I'll hit the check mark, and now it's active. I can X out of here, and you'll notice that right up here, this is showing you which layer is now active. So if I hit the line command and I start making lines, it's a green line that's going to appear instead of a white one. Now, if I wanted to do a red line, all I have to do is come over here. Now my red layer is active. Hit the line command, and now a red line will appear. And now finally I'll do the blue. Now let's say that this is my drawing and I want to edit the green line. As I said, these layers might get in the way and it makes it a little bit more difficult. So all I have to do is come over here, and let's say that I want to just work on the green one. So I'm going to make the green one active, and I'm going to turn off, by hitting that light bulb, the rest of the layers, and it turns them off. And now I can work on that green layer. Now you can see how it can come in handy. So I'm going to turn them all back on by turning the light bulb back on, bringing everything up, and now I'm going to delete all of these lines. Okay, now let's say that I want to make these 4 different colors, these 4 horizontal lines, different colors. All right, the first one I want to make the first line a green layer. So automatically I click that layer, or I click that white line, and notice my layer went back to the defaulted layer up here because that's the layer that I'm working on. Now if I want to change it, all I have to do is go to my drop down. I can click on the green, and you'll see that it actually turned to the green layer. Now I'm not done yet. I have to press escape. Now this green line is underneath that layer. Now let's say that I want to do the next one. All I have to do is click on the line, do the drop down command. I'll do the red, press escape, and now that line is under the red layer. Now let's say that I wanted to do a hidden line. Whenever we're talking about hidden lines, it's usually when we do it in an isometric view, or if we're doing an orthographic view, where there are some lines that you can't see because of the 2-point perspective, but you know that it's there. Alright, so what we're going to do is first type in LA, enter, just to bring up our help screen. And now I have my layers. Now, the only one that I didn't change right now is the blue. So I'm going to go to the blue layer, and I'm going to hit this line right here that says continuous. And you can see it says solid line. I don't want a solid line anymore. I want to load up some kind of different lines. And this ISO dash would be perfect for what I'm really looking for. Or actually, I can do this one that has maybe a little bit more spacing in it. But I'll do the ISO dash. And I press OK. Now you can see that the ISO dash is going to be one of my line types that I can choose. I press OK. And now you can see everything else is continuous but the ISO. But the blue layer. So now I can X out of here. I can click the very next line, do my drop down, go to the blue layer, press escape, and now you can see that it's blue, but if I zoom in, it doesn't look like there are dashes there. There's a reason why it doesn't look like it. It's because the spacing is too narrow. So what I have to do next is click on the layer, and I can type in PR, enter, and the properties comes up. Now if you look here, you're going to see that your line type scale is at 1 inch. That's way too big. We have to switch that so we can see the dashes to something a lot smaller. So, and now you can see the dashes have appeared. Much easier. Now it's a dashed line. There's another way that you can do this as well. If you look over here, this is where all your line properties are. If you wanted to change the thickness or the weight of the line, or if you want to try and change the different types of line, you can load in other ones. Or if you want to come to this little side arrow, you'll even see that the properties command comes up instead of typing in PR. You can just come over here as long as you're clicking the line and hit the properties. Now let's X out of this. And now that, let me go into, make this blue my active layer. And now you're going to see that I only changed this line's properties. So I want to make this my active layer, and I want to see if I can make, yep, let's see if I can make this the scaling that I want it to be. 0.025, enter. Get rid of this. Yep, there we go. And now you can see from here on out, no matter what I do in the blue layer, it is going to be a dotted line. Now let's say that I don't want a dotted line, I don't want a red layer, I don't want anything. All I have to do is go back to my original layer, which is usually your workspace, your title, your title box. So I go back to my 0 layer, and I can hit my line, and it would be a normal white line. Okay, so now let's say I want to get rid of everything. I just have to turn off all of the different layers. All of the layers disappear except for my defaulted layer, and even if I want to get rid of that, it'll actually come up. I have to have at least one layer on, so I will X out of this, turn on my blue layer, I'll turn off that one, make this my current, and you guys can mess around with this, but this is definitely a great tool to understand before you get into any kind of really complicated drawing. You want to make a bunch of layers so that if one thing goes wrong, you don't have to start from the beginning. You can fix it in that individual layer, and then you can move on. Now, for your assignment 7 project, you are going to be doing Z, enter, E, enter for zoom extents. You are going to be doing this assignment. You are going to be making 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines. I do not care what color the lines are. You're going to do it in your title box, your workspace. Make sure you save it as assignment 7. And make sure that it's at the correct starting point. It's the correct spacing for each line. And you are going to make 3 of them dotted or hidden. You're going to make all of them a different color. And you're going to also give them all a different layer. Every single one of them should have a different layer, and every layer that you make different, you are going to write in exactly what color that it is. Do not do white. White is not going to print out. Alright? Just don't do white. Okay. You are not going to be getting a handout for this assignment. All you have to do is pause this screen. You can see exactly what I'm looking for, and you can keep referring back to it if you need to, but I think it's pretty self-explanatory. 7 lines, 3 of them dotted, 8 different layers, all labeled differently, print it out, hand it in for grading.